generally a repetitive behavior or actions that we do repeatedly that become second to our nature. Yeah, that is purely a habit.
It's a repetitive
behavior or actions that we do repetitively that become second to who we are, second to our nature. That forms a habit. So how a habit is formed is simply by taking the same action repetitively, and science has proven this, at least for 21 days and beyond.
If you do something for 21 days consistently, it becomes a habit.
Then it has taken its own life now. It has become a program that has been loaded into your subconscious, and it can now play.
I like that analogy of a program.
Yes.
So if you run this program
yes.
for 21 days consistently,
yes.
It imprints itself into your mind.
The code.
Yes, the code imprints itself into your mind to a point where you don't have to engage your conscious mind
to do it.
Yes. Amazing.
And this is exactly how it happens when we are doing trainings. You see, you never knew how to drive. One day you go to the driving school, you're told this is the gear, this is the accelerator, this is the brake, this is the steering wheel, this is the side mirror, this is the front mirror. And the first day for you to change the gear, you have to look at it, to press the accelerator, you look at it, to press the brake, and your mind has to look at every single thing. But you continue looking at it for some time, and you don't need to look at it anymore.
Yes.
You just look ahead, put in the gear, press the brake pad, press the accelerator, and go.
And it's become muscle memory now.
It becomes muscle memory. And sometimes you can be even shouting, eating, answering your phone, and it's like it's no longer something that you have to think about really to do. That's how you form a habit. So you just need to find whatever you want to do, then consistently engage your mind in it consistently
for 21 days.
Yes, and then you'll have that program now fully loaded in you. Then you can what we say in code language. Now, I come from IT.
Yes.
You can just call the code into action any day. And
whenever circumstances come, that code is called into action.
It's called into action. Once that button is pressed, off we go. We don't need your mind anymore. It can run on its own. It's going to give you the results that you are used to, the results that you expect every day, every time.
So basically, now if we go scripturally, Romans 12, that says, verse 2, I think, do not be conformed to the standards of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may be able to know that which is the good, the perfect. The good, the acceptable, and perfect will of God.
Yes.
So it's like God is telling you, take these thoughts, think upon these thoughts, at least for 21 days.
Yes.
Reprogram your mind. So once you reprogram, there is a code that the word will input into your system.
Yes.
So that you become completely transformed.
And that code now will be the one that operates you.
It becomes the operation. It's
your
operating software.
Yes, you are operating. You set the operating system for you, and that now forms the habits of how you will live. You see, even in the book of Proverbs, the Bible says, it is Bathsheba who was speaking to Solomon. Meditate upon the word of the Lord. Meditate upon the law day and night, and it shall make sure that you are successful in judging the people and leading in a godly way. So it is program yourself literally into a godly lifestyle, into the godly habits. And even this thing with salvation, it's all about reprogramming ourselves. If you look at it from a psychological point of view, you've come from the world and you had these habits, and then you get saved. And then God tells you, now, I want you to change this habit.
It's like he's telling you, now you're born again.
Yes.
There are softwares that you are operating in that world that are not consistent with this kingdom.
Yes.
So now I'm going to give you new software.
Take this word.
Yes.
Now, eat this word until you rewrite the programs in your mind, the habits in your mind, and those habits will dictate your lifestyle, and that lifestyle will dictate your destiny. You remember the way we shared how it works?
Yes.
It starts with the input. The input determines the thought. Then you have a thought. The thought determines behavior or the action. So once you take an action, it makes you behave in a certain way. If the behavior is repeated, it becomes a habit. If the habit is maintained, it becomes a lifestyle. And if that lifestyle is maintained, it defines a destiny. All right? So the only place we can change, we can alter the destiny is right here at the level of habit. Because once we cross the habit, destiny is defined.
So when you cross this, and it's crossed when a particular habit is
Sustained.
Repeatedly just doing it.
Yes.
I like that. I take a thought, I brood upon it.
Yes.
You know, I was reading a book by one of the men of God, and he was talking about how you take a thought. A thought is a picture. It comes to you in the form of a picture, and you can literally see what you're thinking about.
Yes.
If you're thinking about a red car, now that I mentioned a red car, your mind already has a picture of a red car.
Yes, it will generate for you.
Yes. So when you're thinking of a thought, that picture, and you brood upon it, he says when you brood upon a thought, you're literally fertilizing that thought the same way a chicken fertilizes an egg. So in your analogy, you're thinking, it starts from the thought, you brood upon it, it gives birth to action, then you do it repeatedly, it gives birth to a habit. And you consistently do that, and it determines your destiny, where you'll end up.
Yeah, it tells you where you are headed. So let me share this story so that we can get a good perspective of breaking. Today we are talking about changing a habit, but I really, really want to focus on breaking a habit, because we know the habits that don't serve us.
Yes.
This is the funny thing.
Yes.
We do know them, but a lot of time we are not able to change or to break them. So that's where I would want us to do it, because the good habits, we don't want you to break them.
Oh yeah,
those ones
maintain.
we want you to keep
Yes.
them. No problem with those ones. So a story is told of this lady who lived in Houston, Texas in USA in the 1970s. She was around 62 years old, and she had lost her husband. Now the challenge with this lady was she was a deep sniffer. I don't know if you know deep sniffing. There is a type of tobacco.
Oh yeah.
Mbake.
Piga kwa manusu na
Yeah. So that's what we call deep sniffing. So she had deep sniffed for 40 years since she was 20. And before the death of her husband, he had asked her to stop many times. He had tried to take her to hospital, to people who can advise her, and it was impossible. The gentleman went as far as promising her a golden necklace that she always had dreamed of. This guy had decided that he would sell a piece of land and buy her this golden necklace, because she had always dreamed of it, but he made sure that if he would only do that if she stopped deep sniffing. But she tried. Her name was Mary. She tried, and it was completely impossible. So time passed on, and the guy died. 1 year later, Mary had suffered loneliness. She had endured a lot of loneliness because her children had traveled abroad. And a year after her husband's death, she decided, I'm going to get married.
Yes.
I cannot live this way. So one of these good days, when after she had repackaged herself and was moving around in social circles, she met this young man, younger, not young, younger to her, who was about 54 years of age, who was rich, was handsome, and was a widower. And this guy took an interest in her. So this one day, they had a wonderful date, nice meal, they enjoyed the time together. So when she went home, she called her friend by the name Dorcas and explained how it is going and her new hopes now of getting married. Then Dorcas asked her, do you think if Francis knew that you are a deep sniffer, he would marry you? And that hit Mary hard. And she knew that if by any chance this man knew that she does deep sniff, her chances would be lost. So what did she do? There and then, she stopped deep sniffing.
She just made a decision.
She made a decision and took an action, and she did not need the gold ring. It just stopped. 2 years down the line, she got married to Francis. So, what really made Mary change? Because she had tried this for 40 years. Her husband had given her a lot of incentives to give her that opportunity, but it was impossible. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, without
just one decision,
without any assistance, she changes. You see? So it's a mental disposition. And that's what I want us to focus on. It's a mental disposition that one has to have to break a habit. It's not knowing that it is a bad habit, and it's not knowing how to break it. Rather, it's the disposition of your mind at a certain time that really makes you go over that problem. It could be an issue that has troubled you for many days. You've heard these stories, Fred, of men who are smokers. And one day they go to the hospital and the doctor tells him, if
you're dying.
If you don't stop,
you'll be dead in
I give
2
you
months.
2 months. And from that day, he does not have any thirst for smoking. Just that one day. It's the day that turns that man's life around. So these things are not impossible to stop. And I'm saying this being human and knowing that I also struggle with some of these things. But I'm bringing us to a point where we see that it is actually the mental disposition that either holds us back or moves us ahead or above beyond a habit.
Situation.
Yes.
You're very right. I was listening to a story yesterday of this gentleman. He was a rich guy, and he was walking in the street, and there was a beggar. Now, this beggar came to him and told him, "Sir, can you help me with change?" So he took out a coin, which was change. Then he thought about it. Then he went down into his pocket, took $300. So he told this gentleman, do you know by your choice, you can decide how your life is going to be? And he held out the coin and the $300.
Yes.
This poor beggar in the streets looked at him and asked him, are you crazy? And then he took the coin and ran off, leaving $300 in the hands of this guy. Wow. So his mental disposition told him he does not deserve the $300.
Yes.
He's not worth it.
Yes.
And took change.
Yes.
So our mental disposition can make decisions that stick and change our lives completely.
Permanently.
Yes.
And is it sadly or luckily, happened to be inboxed by so many people part time.
Yes.
And a lot of them with a few challenges. I've met so many people struggling with masturbation. I've met so many people struggling with alcoholism. I've met so many people struggling with pornography. And I tell them, it is only in your mind that you believe it is impossible. But in reality, it is very possible. And it doesn't need anything special. It just needs your mind to be set to a certain direction. You see, it is God who used to who told Abraham, set your eyes in the skies. Look at the sand where you're stepping on. God tells you, look at this. Your disposition, where you are looking at things, your perspective is the only thing that needs to change. And the only way to change,
the way you see things.
The way you see things. Because it affects the way you do things.
The way you see things affects the way you do things.
Yes. So God changes the way you see. And automatically it changes the way you do.
I like that.
All right? And that's why God likes to work with pictures. So you Abraham, I'm telling you, you're going to be a father of nations. But from the level of your perspective, from where you are seeing things, you are only seeing Sarah and
Her barrenness. Yes.
This is the only picture you've got. So let me help you. Look up. I want you to count for me the stars. So the way if you cannot count, that's exactly how much your blessing are. Now, that's not enough of a picture. Look down. Tell me if you can count the sand. If you can count, that's how much your generations are going to be. So God is trying to tell him, I want you to change where you are viewing things from.
Start seeing, yes.
Geuza hiyo screen. Face things from this direction and see that your outcomes will automatically change. And the Bible records clearly that this man believed God, and for it he was counted righteous. He believed the new picture.
He believed the new picture that God had painted.
Yeah, that God painted for him.
Yes.
And automatically it charged his faith, and that is what led to the birth of Isaac. You see, so even our outcomes of life depend on the disposition of our minds. So for someone who is struggling with masturbation, pornography, alcoholism, any drug addiction, the first thing that must change is not your efforts to stop, but your point of view.
Why? What do you see this as?
Yes, what do you see this as? And what do you see as possible? Because possibility matters. Remember, the energy to work hard today comes from the hope of things getting better tomorrow. It is actually the vision of tomorrow
that gets you working and doing things,
that gets you busy today. Otherwise, where there is no vision, the scripture says people perish. Why do they perish? Because they lack the energy, the enthusiasm.
And they threw away restraint.
Yes. It is because of that lack that makes people perish. It's not that absence of vision kills literally on its own. It doesn't kill.
Yes.
But it takes away that energy. And you see, when you stop growing, you inadvertently start dying.
No wonder God, in so many instances, would ask his people, what do you see?
It's actually the first lesson of every prophet.
Yeah. What do you see?
If you study the Bible,
yes,
he wants to be sure that this fellow
is seeing the same thing I'm seeing.
He's seeing the thing I'm posting to him.
Yes.
Because if he can't see my screen, his actions, his words cannot be consistent with what I'm trying to communicate.
So, God's word is God's screen.
Yes.
And he tells you, stop watching that screen you're watching.
No, change.
Watch my screen. This is reality.
Yes.
So you gotta believe what the content that is on my screen.
Yes.
For your life to change.
For it now to convert into a reality of your life. So the first and the most important thing when it comes to breaking a habit is changing the screen.
Yeah, I really love that analogy. You know, that analogy is amazing because it helps you put things into proper context.
Yes.
In the sense that there is a screen that God is projecting who you are,
Yes.
what you have, what you can do, and everything he has said about you.
Yes.
He's projecting on that screen. But at the same time, there is a screen on this other side.
That you are currently switched on.
Yes, and you're projecting, you're showing your current situation, what you think you can do, who you think you are,
Yes.
what you think you have, and you have limited yourself on this screen, forgetting that there's a bigger screen on this side that is talking about you.
You, yes.
That's amazing, bro.
So God wants you to shift that
Yes.
screen.
Yeah.
So the first thing I always tell them, I want you, first of all, to think yourself beyond pornography. What would life be for you? Because if you can't get there mentally, man, I have no other solution for you. It's only there is a lost
You gotta
battle.
see yourself past.
You got to see yourself on the other side. And you got to feel the experience. You got to feel the difference. What kind of a person would you be on the other side of the mountain? How will it be for you if you are at the peak? Because right now you are in the valley. What difference would it make for you? And I need you to see yourself from the top of the Murima. Because right now you are only seeing yourself from the pit. And until someone can tell me clearly what they see of themselves and the benefits it's gonna give them, I usually don't want to walk a journey with them.
Because if they can't see, they won't become it.
It won't become. It's just gonna be a passing moment, gonna be a waste of time. But if someone can see the other side of the story, it's gonna provoke the emotions, the desire, the energy, the effort, the consistency that's required to cross the river. You see? So that is the beginning of it all. Then the second thing I want someone to look at when it comes to breaking a habit or changing a habit is the reasons why human beings change. There are 4 main reasons why human beings change. People don't just change.
Yes, you gotta give them a reason to change.
There are reasons that people change for.
Yes.
And according to John Maxwell, there are 4. Number 1, they must be hurt enough to want to change.
As in, you gotta get to that place where this condition, like the prodigal son.
Yes, you hate it.
Yes, you just lost it completely. And you know that there's an option.
Yes.
But you really hate your current position.
Yes, it must get that far. That is one of the reasons why human beings change. So you'd see someone who has gone as low as you would think a human being can go. Then you, from your point of view, you sign them out. But you don't know. When that man hits the rock bottom, he might really hit it down there. And the next thing, you're going to see him fly. Because they've been hurt enough to hit that situation. Now, if you've listened, watched around the bibliography of most wealthy people, you'll hear some of them, not all of them, that they loathe poverty.
They go to a place whereby,
They say,
oh no,
this I will never take again.
You know, I believe poverty is a spirit.
Yes.
It is a spirit that sets a particular kind of mindset.
Yes.
And
It operates with a stronghold.
yes, it strips people of dignity. But you got to practice poverty for you to be poor. In your mind,
Yes.
like just same thing you're saying.
It has to, you have to have that picture.
Yeah, you have to
consistently.
be watching a screen of poverty.
Poverty, consistent.
Yes, you're seeing lack, you're seeing inability to achieve, you're seeing, everything not working for
you, yes. Opportunities running away from you.
Yes.
You being denied chances.
Yes.
And everything of that sort.
And then you start acting the way
According
a
to
person,
that screen.
yes, the way a person who's been denied opportunities, the way a person who has nothing,
Yeah.
you start acting like him.
Out yet.
And as you act it out, you become.
You become it, yes.
Yes.
That is how you change. So most of these people, you'll hear that they reached a point where they loved it.
Tired of it.
They just got tired. And they said, no, it's not going to be this way again. And they switched screens. They switched that thing off. The poverty thing, I am poor now, but the TV will not operate.
Yes. And they
We
switched
better
to
stay in
their-
darkness here, you know. And then suddenly the godly screen came to them. And since then they've been, they taxed off. And a story is given of a gentleman also from Texas, Houston. I don't know why I read stories from Texas, Houston, but I like country boys. So I kind of watch a lot of country stuff,
Yeah.
country music, country movies and stuff. So I have a lot of stories from there, so forgive me.
Yes.
The gentleman got tired of his old Chevrolet pickup. It would tire him when just going to the market. He has to stop 3 times, fix it, fix the tires, fix the brake, just fix something. When he's coming out of the market, he has to stop another 3 times. And one day this gentleman just got tired of it. He drove it right into the field. He took his shotgun. He put 200 rounds into that thing.
Yes.
Pop, 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 until all people came around. Ask him what is wrong. He said, I am not gonna drive that thing again. And nobody will ever drive that kind of thing again in this life.
Yes.
And that's how it was done. He burnt it. 2 months later, he got another car. So there must be that one day where you say,
I'm tired of this. I can't stay in this situation anymore.
not anymore, not anymore. In the Bible, there are those 4 lepers who got to a point and said, if we stay here, man, we are going to die.
If we go, we are going to die.
We are going to die.
Let's go.
But instead of staying, let's just go.
Yes.
Yeah. So the day they decided to take, the day they got tired is the day their life changed. So anyone who is struggling here with a habit, including all of us, because I believe life is always about growing. You could be having a habit that's not necessarily hurting you, but it's not taking you forward. You get? So it's not a bad thing as per se, but it's not moving you to where you want to go.
Like what Paul will say, all things are permissible, but not all things are beneficial.
Are beneficial, yeah. So you could be there, but you could also be on the other side where you know you have a habit that is self-destructive. So the first thing you must do, you have to get tired.
You gotta get tired.
Yeah, you got to get tired to be in that place. If you can't get tired, man, this show probably is not for you.
You gotta get to a point where you stop feeding the animal that is eating you.
Yes, stop feeding the black dog.
Yes.
Yes, you got to.
Let's move away from the black dog because that's a white man's analogy.
Yes.
It's being racist. You gotta stop feeding the beast. That beast you're feeding constantly.
Yes.
You've been feeding this beast that keeps on telling you you're such an ugly person, such a useless person, such a, you will never make it in life. You feed it and it keeps on talking to you like that.
Yes.
And you feed it with your thoughts, you feed it
with everything in you. You have to stop.
Stop.
You have to get tired.
Yes. I was reading the scriptures in Colossians chapter 3. I think it's Colossians. Yes. It says, put to death those things that belong to the earth. Then when I looked at the word put to death,
yes,
it was a very interesting Greek word. It's nekros. Now, doctors or medical guys will tell you there's a process called necrosis. Necrosis is whereby, you remember that story where a child in Mombasa, Coast General, the nurse came to try and get blood from akafunga hapa, akafunga na blada, alafu akatoa damu, and then akutoa blada. And by morning, that hand was black.
Yes, yes,
it
yes.
had to be amputated.
Yes, it does
So that process is called necrosis. So
you are cutting the life out of
yes,
it and then allow it to die slowly by slowly.
So when God is saying, put to death whatever is of earth from you, earth, and he mentions it, fornication, adultery. He just says, stop giving it, stop feeding it.
Stop giving it life.
Yeah, stop giving it life.
Yeah.
And it will die off.
So
it will necrose. It will go through the process of necrosis.
wow.
So that's what you're talking about.
Yes, yes. You have to come to that point and stop feeding it completely. Number 2 reason why people change is they are inspired enough to change. You could be wanting to change, but you really are not very inspired. You haven't seen the other side, as I was talking about. You haven't really seen the benefits. So you got to observe the benefits of across the river. What do people who don't have this challenge enjoy that I don't get to enjoy? What do they have that I don't have? What are the benefits across the other side? Because you need that inspiration. Sometimes you need to listen to stories of people who have come across, who have come through, so that you can feel that inspiration in you. So it's like charging yourself for a takeoff.
Yes.
You got to put enough power. You know, a rocket must accumulate enough power to throw it out of earth.
Yes.
That is inspiration. You have to inspire yourself enough that when you take off, the next landing place can only be in space, not in the atmosphere. So get the resources, read the books, listen to stories, listen to testimonies, look at the benefits, have the vision, build enough inspirations to move you across. Number 3.
So get tired of the situation.
Yes.
Really tired of it.
Of it, yes.
Then secondly, inspiration.
Yes.
You gotta get sufficient inspiration.
Yes.
To thrust you. Yes. And the way you do that is looking at how people who don't have the situation you have live on the other side. Like if you're, let's use poverty.
Yes.
Because I really hate poverty.
Yes.
If you're broke, poor, look at the other side of the mountain where people have sufficiency,
have abundance.
Yes. So that if they don't think about rent because they have their own home.
Yes.
They don't think about, when it comes to school fees, it's not even a thought.
They pay a whole year in advance.
Yes, they pay a whole year in advance. When it comes to medical, they have a medical insurance that can be able to take care of them and their children.
And the family.
Yes,
around.
in case of any eventuality. They have life insurance in case they are not around, and investments that they've put in place that can take care of them and their children's children.
Yes.
So that's the picture you see.
Then
you get inspired enough to jump that fence of poverty.
To the other side.
Yes.
Yes. And so we've said, get tired, get inspired.
Yes.
Number 3, learn. People have to learn enough for them to change. Sometimes it's an informational gap that we are suffering from. You are in a financial crisis and you genuinely feel tired of it. You really want to change it, but you don't have the right information. You know, you are using the information you are given by your father who was also poor. You've been applying it and the results are consistent with the person who taught you.
So you're replicating your dad.
Yes. So it doesn't matter how much you try, because you're operating with the wrong information. you can be an honest person who is honestly wrong. You see, being honest, being honest does not change the fact that you don't know, you don't know. You see? So you got to learn enough to help you across. So if you're climbing a mountain, hauwezi kuenda na rubber shoes. You've got to learn enough. You see? There are things that you must be aware of and understand the changes that will happen to your body as you ascend, so that you take out the risks. Otherwise, you'll go and die in between. You know,
True.
You're gonna try cross that river and you lose more than you would have gained, or lose more than you have even left. So you need that education. So once you identify, man, this is where I'm stuck. I'm really drinking. So I got to learn more. I got to learn about what this drinking is causing. It's causing a river cirrhosis. It's affecting my family. It's affecting my finances. It's affecting this, affecting that, it's affecting this. Got to get all the information. Then you got to know what is the expectation. Now as I cross over, probably I'm going to feel thirsty. My friend Fred will obviously give me a call.
Yes.
And he's going to be by me too. You know, you got to learn enough around that subject before you start the journey. Otherwise, the obstacles will either take you back or take you to a deeper hole than you expected. So you must learn enough. Okay? And the last thing, you must receive enough to be able to. That is a question of capacity. You must build capacity to make the change. There are things you would wish, but they require capacity. Just a habit won't just break. And the idea behind a habit is not killing it, but rather replacing it.
You don't kill it.
Yes,
you have
because
to introduce a new habit.
You'll create an empty time. And you know, physicians say that the world doesn't exist in vacuum. It doesn't allow vacuum. It
Something
vacuum.
will come to fill it.
Something will fill that. So the only true way to change is to replace. Is to replace. So if you usually go on Friday and drink 5, your way out is on the same Friday, go to the library. Or on the same Friday, go for a fellowship.
Or the guy, there's a guy here in Buruburu who does camel soup. If you take 5, go and drink 5 cups of soup.
Yes, replace it.
Yes.
And meet a few friends there,
yes.
Socialize.
Yes.
So that it doesn't happen that you have left a vacuum. Because what you are doing, because it's already a program, will load on that space that you've left. So the key is to replace. So some of the changes that you need to build capacity for them. You need to have enough resources to take you across, to help you climb the mountain, to help you get to where you want. So that sometimes may take a coach, may take a mentor, may take a book, may take some kind of capacity building system that will help you move across. Sometimes it could be even an accountability partner.
Yes.
Could be a change of friends. Could be a change of a house. You hammer a certain area. You know, things like that. Those are the things that will help you break free from a habit. Yes.
So first, you got to get tired of it. Secondly, you got to inspire yourself sufficiently to be able to jump.
Yes.
Third, you got to learn.
Yes.
You got to make sure you get enough information concerning what you want to achieve. And then the fourth, you got to
before you, not what you achieve only, how deep of a hole you are.
Yes,
you
got to know your status.
Yes, sometimes we refuse to change because we haven't really interrogated our reality. If you sat down and realized I'm losing my family because of my drinking, you see, you might not think that it would actually cause your family to break. But if you sat down and analyze, you realize, wow,
this thing is bad.
This thing is bad. Yeah, it has disconnected me from my children, my wife is gonna leave, you know, I'm losing my job and stuff. If you analyze, you realize, man, I'm in a deep hole. Yeah, this thing hasn't been that good.
Yes.
But you didn't know until you like checked. So you got to know how deep you are, and you got to know how to come out.
Yes.
The knowledge.
That's the
Learning,
knowledge.
yes.
And then the fourth thing is capacity.
Capacity, got to build the capacity.
You got to build capacity. There are things that you would wish to have, but you don't have capacity. You would love to be, you know, the bodybuilder, the Mr. Universe, and you wish to be that, but you've not built capacity for your muscle. You got to build it.
Yeah, you need a car. You gotta have some parking.
Yes.
Yes.
That's you need a car. you gotta go do driving.
Yes.
Build capacity. You gotta do driving, and then once you qualify for driving, now you've done sufficiently on your journey towards getting a car, and you also gotta find out where you'll be parking it.
Yes.
Usipaki juu ya nyumba ya gari, hii nyumba ya watu.
Yes.
Yes.
The one thing I want to say
Yes.
before we wind up, and I want to wind up with a scripture, is that it is the truths that we engage, Fred, that make a difference in our lives. It's not the truths that we hear, but rather the ones we engage. Those are the ones that turn our lives around. So this information is beautiful to listen to, but still it won't break your bad habit.
You got to act on it.
It is the little that you will engage that will make a difference in your life. Otherwise, even the word of God, without being engaged, it has no effect on a human being's life. It is
True.
them only that engage it that can tell the benefits of it. Otherwise, you can read it as a novel, and if you never try it, for you, it won't work.
Yes.
So, as we close down this show, it is what you engage. We said change your perspective, and then apply the 4 things we've discussed about how you change. If you don't engage,
You'll remain the same.
You're gonna be the same next Wednesday when we are having a different conversation. Now,
Yes.
this gentleman called Paul wrote to Timothy. In Timothy 1, 1 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 7.
Yes.
It says, but reject profane and old wives' fables.
Yes.
And exercise yourself toward godliness. Verse 8, for bodily exercise profits a little, but godliness is profitable for all things, having the promise of life that is now and that which is to come.
Yes.
So the point here is exercise yourself.
Practice it. Do it.
We've talked about habits happening in 21 days. So it is exercising yourself daily. Daily. You got to push. When you feel like, when you don't feel like, when you are excited, when you are bored,
Yes.
you got to jump in and keep on pushing.
I like what Mike Tyson said.
Yes.
Mike Tyson hated doing the
Boxing.
boxing and the exercise and the, you know, all those physical exercises he had to do to be fit. But he said to him, discipline is doing what you hate like you love it.
Yes.
Because you know where it's going to get you. I see there's Masli Achieng, you're saying you're learning from you guys. I had also seen Catherine Mwoki, she's watching. So quite a number of people watching.
Wow.
So remember this. It is the information you apply that is going to help you. Let me end it with this story. A guy was dying. He was given 3 days to die. His disease would take him out in 3 days. But he was given medicine, which if he took, would stop his death. So for 3 days, he was telling everybody about the medicine. Told them, oh, I have 3 days to go. But the doctors have given me this medication. Or if I take this medication, I will live longer than 3 days. And he kept on telling people, and time went. First day went, second day went, the third day came. He was still talking to people, telling them how this medicine can change his life. He won't die. He never took the medicine. He died in the presence of a pill that would change his life. All he needed to do was to take it and drink water, take it down, and he would have lived. So all that information we are giving you is like that medicine. Until you take it, apply it, your life won't change.
It's not the gospel you preach.
Yes.
It's the one you apply.
Yes, it's
that
the one
changes your life.
True. Well, with that, unfortunately, we got to come down, we got to bring down the curtains on this show. I love Wednesdays. Wednesdays are my best day, to tell you the truth. I love the kind of feed that we eat during the morning at a time like this on Mindset Wednesday, because I leave this place seeing the world from a completely different perspective. My takeaway on this, there are two screens playing. One is playing the version of you from God's perspective, and one is playing the version of you from your perspective. Now, your perspective is less because it is really, you've been deceived by Satan about who you are, what you can do, or what you cannot do. But the version of you that is playing on the big screen by God, if you focus on it, you'll discover what a great human being you are, what a powerful being you are, what a great person you are. You'll discover you can do all things through him. You'll discover you have all things through him. You'll discover there is nothing impossible to you because you believe in his story, his version of you. So which screen are you going to continue watching today? You have the remote control. Chagua screen kubwa. Sindio? Thank you very much, Gabriel, for that conversation. Awesome stuff today I've learned.
You're most welcome.
All right. Alice, I can see you through the camera. Na hiyo mkate unakula uachane nayo. It's not yet time to eat bread right now, eh? And just kidding. Alice is the director. You can take us out of the studio. Do have yourself a lovely morning. We got great programming coming in today. And I'm very sure you'll be blessed.